Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning in, that means you have massive heat. I'm Jack Farmer being joined by Matt Morgan on a holiday Monday. Matt, how you feeling today?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I mean, I can't complain. It's a sunny, beautiful day. I got to watch some pro wrestling, chatting with you. Can't really ask for a much better time than that. Uh, I have a new segment I want to unveil though as we start things off, Matt. And for everyone listening and watching, haven't pitched this to anybody at all, but this is called Massive Heat. I want to call this segment the hot seat. You're in the hot seat, Matt, and we're starting the show off with John Cena. He's retiring, facing a lot of folks. Let's say WWE said to AEW, you know what? We will give you a one-night trade. If we could get Edge back for one night, you can ask for one of our wrestlers to be on one of your shows for one night. You can pick whoever you want, but the four people off the table, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, they're off filming a movie. John Cena, because otherwise, why would we do this trade? And 3, CM Punk, he's never going back to AEW. Other than those 4, if you're AEW, would you make a trade for one night, and who would you take from WWE?
Ooh, I thought you were going to go the opposite way. Would WWE even do this? Which my answer is hell no.
No.
But I'm AEW. Who would I take?
Because it's a one-night thing.
So because of what kind of company it mainly is and what kind of athletes they have there and what the fan base there really likes watching with the in-ring athleticism, fast-paced style. It sucks it can't be Punk because I still think Punk versus MJF to me is my favorite storyline in AEW history.
Right.
The promos were so well done. I'd want it to be Punk. I would definitely want it to be Punk. I'm overriding you saying it can't be Punk. I want it to be Punk.
I think that would get more eyeballs than anybody because you'd clearly
want to
see what happens. But I feel like it'd be more interesting to see what happens backstage.
Wait. So definitely Punk for the drama and because who knows. But I'd also say AJ Styles versus Kenny Omega.
Yeah, that would be, I think, one of those just golden matches, those once-in-a-lifetime matches.
Yeah, man. I think I would sell my right arm and watch that match. I would want to see that match so bad.
That one, yeah, I think that would probably be the best match we'd see. Everyone in the chat, everyone in the comments, let us know who you would trade if you could have a one-off trade. Fernando Perez in the chat says Seth Rollins.
It's a good one.
A very good one. And Adrian says Rhea Ripley to get us Rhea Ripley versus Toni Storm would be another good one.
All very good. Those are great choices.
Yeah, they had one in NXT UK for those who watched that, but that was a world ago. So definitely. I don't know if that really even counts anymore. But again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us here at Massive Heat. If you want to be a part of the conversation, hit the subscribe button so you can be in the chat and then use those super chats to make sure that your chat definitely gets shouted out on air. We got more plugs to do, but before we get into that, Matt, I think there was some really good news that came out this week that I wanted to chat about. Psycho Stu out of the hospital, back home. That's got to be the best wrestling news we could hear this week.
Yeah, without question, that's by far the best news of anything wrestling related, by far, and just human being related, I would argue. By far that he's back home and is back on the mend, so that's awesome. This guy captured everybody's, the whole country's hearts, it feels like, and it seems like. So keep sending him love, keep sending him prayers, and that he gets through what he's still got a long hill in front of him to climb, no doubt. And also wanted to comment that I heard, I don't know if this is rumor and innuendo, but that LAPD had been dragging its feet supposedly on the case with Raja Jackson, and that according to what was it, Douglas, the guy that saved the day and basically saved his life. Thank God he jumped in and intervened.
Yes.
And ripped Raja off of him finally. Douglas Mallow, I think is his name.
He wrestles as Epic, I think. Or
Epic Douglas Mallow, Mallow, I believe is the spelling. And seems like a cool dude from the interviews I've watched. But anyways, he said that LAPD been dragging its feet, and because of that, the state is now stepping in, which is a good sign, which means there should be an arrest, I would imagine, sooner versus later. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully justice is served there. Absolutely. And it's a shame to hear that police may have been dragging their feet. I mean, I can understand from their standpoint if you don't watch the video and you just hear a pro wrestler got hurt doing something, you think
you can't miss that video. That video, and I'm sure you've seen this, has made its way into every single genre possible. Even like podcasts I watch that are nothing to do with wrestling at all, that might be political. It was in there. It's in every single genre of show possible, news station, you name it. I mean, this is big, and this was bad, and that dude needs to serve his time for it. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, we'll obviously be keeping up to date on that. But for now, the best thing, Psycho Stu, back home on the mend, and hopefully continues to do well. And we're all rooting for you, Stu, if you're watching this show. And if you're watching the show, we want to thank you one more time. Make sure to visit podcastheatwrestling.com, and make sure while you're here, hit like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and follow Podcast Heat at WatchPodHeat on X and Instagram. And if you're into the shows that we're doing, by the way, we got tomorrow night, D'Lo Brown, 9 p.m. live. D'Lo will discuss the infamous Victory Road incident between Sting and Jeff Hardy as the agent of that match. Anyone who remembers watching that, I remember being very confused at the time as a fan, but that'll be interesting to hear D'Lo Brown's take on it. Wednesday, Nick Patrick is doing Q&A. Thursday is a special event. Diamond Dallas Page is live watching along of the match that put him on the map, that Spring Stampede 1997 match against Macho Man Randy Savage at 8 p.m. Eastern. And on Friday, Todd is Pod. ECW founder Todd Gordon will discuss the NWA title screw job with Shane Douglas and renaming Eastern Championship Wrestling to Extreme Championship Wrestling. Matt, that is a lineup. Every single one of those shows is can't miss.
Yeah, definitely. All the shows on here are. I'm not just saying that because we're a part of it, but these are all shows, and people can go back in time and see it, that I've subscribed to and watch weekly when I can.
Yeah.
Long before we had joined this network.
Yeah, very good stuff. So again, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and while you're here, join us in the chat. Let us know what you thought of the week in wrestling. For now, I want to talk about Clash in Paris, the WWE PLE that went down this weekend. We put a poll up for everybody to get their opinions of Clash in Paris, and I want everyone's opinions as well in the comments and in the chat. If you add up the polls and combined them based on what I had ChatGPT combine the polls and tell me what the percentages were, but 39% of our viewers and listeners gave it a thumbs up. 42% put it thumbs in the middle. 18% gave Clash at Paris a thumbs down. Matt, where did you put it? Are you a thumbs up, thumbs down, or thumbs in the middle?
No, it's definitely thumbs in the middle for every poll I saw.
Yeah, it was. But what about you? What did you feel? Was it a thumbs in the middle for you as a show?
Oh, you didn't hear me? Yeah, every poll that I did, I checked off thumbs in the middle.
I got you. I thought you were saying every poll you saw. Okay, no, I got you.
No. That I saw every poll possible that everybody was putting out there, and I clicked on every single one in the middle because I wasn't impressed with it.
Yeah, something about the WWE shows. I was trying to think about how I want to explain this. The PLEs is when I watch them, there's not really anything I'm watching that I'm like, this is bad. Like the crowd was great. The presentation looked good. I was on board for the matches. There wasn't a match where I felt like this is terrible at any point, but I feel like I'm never getting that shock and awe that I want from pro wrestling. I feel like I've never left at the end of the show going, whoa, can you believe what we just saw? Like those moments, I don't know, growing up where you would call your friend or be like, oh, I can't wait to talk about that, at school the next day or something. I feel like everything we see, at least on this show, and it feels like recently, I've left going, yeah, that was good, but it's kind of what you expected. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been this way ever since Cody won the championship. Once he won that WrestleMania versus Roman Reigns, because that's when they were on hitting on all their cylinders. You had The Rock, which would make you, when The Rock came back And it was who's going to main event WrestleMania, Cody or him? Are they going to stick with Rock? Are they not? All that drama that came with it. We really didn't know from week to week what was going to happen. And that was the first time in a long time that we had that feeling. And I felt like they were really hitting their stride. The bloodline was at its hottest it had ever been. That whole year leading up to that when Rock comes back. And I think ever since then, once Cody wins that title, and then the reintroduction of Punk back to the roster, I think once after that happened, we're not getting, like what you just said, any shock value anymore. And I'm not saying I always need to have shock value. I don't mind predictability, but I don't mind predictability when the storylines are super wet, super duper just tethered and very, 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 thick layers to their storyline that give us the payoff for watching this crap week to week. And I don't mean crap like by crapping on the athletes and the wrestlers themselves. I'm just talking about the stories they're being given right now. Right now, the only thing that's kind of semi-real to me, like as a wrestling fan, I'm really interested in, are they going to bring AJ Lee back with what happened tonight on Raw with Becky really being in Punk's face and slapping it, etc. And the natural real life beef between him and Seth. That's interesting to me. But that's it. Like, I love Braun Breaker. I love Bronson Reed. But there's just something there that's still missing with, like, what you're asking to see more of, which is the unpredictability of things. And be genuinely shocked from time to time. And we're not getting that anymore. I don't know why. Is it just because they've gotten all these great deals done and now they're good to go for the next 5 years or whatever it is, because they've got those deals with ESPN, they got those deals with Netflix now. So now it just feels like a decrescendo of creativity on their end, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I got to agree with you. It feels like we'll talk about Becky Lynch later, because I want to talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, there was just, I don't know, like you mentioned during the bloodline, like those moments where like Sami Zayn finally hit Roman Reigns, or know, those like that wasn't necessarily something it was something they were building to. I'm not saying it was like, the Vince Russo crazy random stuff, but you left that moment going, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Where, we watched Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. I enjoyed the match. It was great. He attacks Roman Reigns after. I didn't feel like, oh my God, he's attacking Roman Reigns after. Like, yeah, we kind of expected this. This is kind of how you feel like it's supposed to go down. You know what I mean?
I exactly do. And back to what you're saying with like Sammy finally hitting Roman, or him making the funny joke about, what's his name? Jay not being oozy enough, right?
Yes.
Those weren't just winks to the audience. Those were, like, in my opinion, Triple H or Vince, I don't know who it was at the time, I forget, was giving us the payoff as wrestling fans for sticking along the journey to these characters' stories. I don't feel we're getting that anymore for sticking around and sticking in like this boring Raw tonight, and getting that payoff for sticking around.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree completely. And I do want to talk. One of the reasons I did bring up the Roman Reigns Bronson Reed thing is, as we talk about the show, something that I think the one thing that felt like a real weight to this show that brought it down for me happened early on. Again, this was a 3.5 hour show. And again, anytime we go over 2 hours, I start to get crabby.
Yeah.
But the Clash in Paris was a longer show, and there's like 15 minutes, I think, of just post-match attack on Roman Reigns, which I think at one point in time would have been a big deal. But it also feels, I think he's been beaten down at this point 3 or 4 times like this year. And that to me felt like a big weight on the show. Like, okay, now we're waiting for them to put him on the stretcher. Now we're attacking again. They're going to show a replay of that later. I get why they're doing it, so we can go off and film Street Fighter. Makes sense. I'm on board. But man, I just feel like the post-match beatdowns are starting to almost feel Death Riders like, where we're like, okay, we get it. You're going to attack everyone again after the show.
Yes.
Am I off base with that?
No, you're not. And I'll also throw one more thing in. Judgment Day is able to eat up 3 separate either matches or segments on every show, because they split up Dom, they split up the tag team, and then they split up the 2 girls tag team. Sometimes they're all together in the clubhouse, but mainly they're split them up into 3 segments. So I don't want to say it's a waste of a show, but it's like I don't care about those characters sans Dom. Dom's the only one in that group I really care about at this point. I could watch him all day. He's a bright spot at least.
Yes. No, that's a great point too, because with the Vision, it feels like they're always together, and so everything they do is together, and so everything that happens feels like, okay, we're going through the whole Vision again. But as we go through, Logan Paul and John Cena, they had a match. This is something I want to chat to you about as well. And AOTV, I see your super chat. I'm going to get to that in just a second. But I want to talk to you about Logan Paul and John Cena.
Mhm.
I thought that match was incredible. I think it was match of the night in my mind. I think
Wow.
Logan Paul is everything he says he is. But I'm going to put you on the hot seat again. Our co-host, who's not
Mhm.
here to defend his comments, so I'm putting them on you, Matt Morgan. Raj Giri says that Logan Paul versus John Cena was better than HBK versus John Cena. What's your take
I've
on
got to go
Raj
back.
Giri?
I've got to go back. First, just tell him what my text was. I said, you're crazy. But I did say, Raj, you're crazy with, he's like, hey, go back and watch it. You'll see HBK phoned it in. I have to go back and watch it, to be fair, for me to give it the proper assessment and compare the two. Was it a great, was Logan great? Yes. Was the match, like, did any one of us worry at any point Logan Paul's winning this match? No, not one of us. And I'm not saying you have to go into every match with that, right? I was a Hulk Hogan fan growing up. I know he was winning every match, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But still, there's just no, what you were saying earlier, there was nothing shocking or crazy about that match, except for Logan continues to get massively better every time he has an outing. He's incredibly good. I can't take anything away from him. He's got to be the fastest learner of them all that I've ever seen. And he's able to combine the cool athleticism, high spot stuff with it, if that's your cup of tea as a fan, versus, being able to follow. He's still not putting those matches together. He'll never put these matches together. No matter how many times they rehearse it, he's still too new to call a match. I'm not taking anything away from that. I'm just saying, when he gets to the spot where he's able to call matches, then that's a different threshold that you reach as a professional wrestler that you only get with time.
Right.
And I don't know if he'll ever get that because he's not always going to be on the road like the average WWE superstar is on every single show. And, he just practices the matches over and over and over again, which a lot of them do, and they can't pull off what he pulls off. So I don't want to take anything away from Logan at all because he's insanely impressive in that ring. I just, Ron said it was better than HBK. It just sounded wrong. It just sounded wrong. And that could be, me being completely, what's the word? In the bubble back then, automatically assuming because HBK is one of the greatest workers of all time, that it had to have been great if he was in it, right? I got to go back and watch it, to be fair. And then next week, I'll give you my real comment on which of the two I thought was better.
You are more open-minded than me because, like you, I saw that and I was like, no, it wasn't. No, nothing's better than an HBK match. But then he's like, look, watch it back. I'm like, how well do I actually remember?
We don't.
Michael's match.
We don't.
But I still, there's a part of me that's still like, no.
There's no way.
HBK was the best.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, the outcome, like you said, not really in doubt. In fact, there wasn't really any match on this card where I really felt like I didn't know how it was going to go. And they all kind of went about the way I thought they would. I think Rusev Sheamus was the only one I had a little bit of a question for, and it wasn't even that big of a question for.
I didn't have Rusev, even though I thought Rusev should win. I didn't think he was winning that match, so I got to take that one back. That is one I didn't get right.
Right, but was it I don't know if that was the biggest match of the card, but it was. Like I said, the show was fine. Like, it was a fun show to watch. But yeah, I wish we got a few more of those like shocking moments. And we'll talk about Becky a little bit later. I guess some people would say that was very shocking. I thought it was entertaining. I don't know if I left going,
no,
I can't believe that Becky Lynch joined the Vision,
to me, it took, my reaction was, why did it take this long?
Yeah.
That was my reaction.
And I think a lot of people had sort of fantasy booked that happening anyways. So it was kind of like, okay, now we've got what we expected was going to happen. again, it was a fun show. Paris is, in your opinion, because they said it. Michael Cole said Paris is the best
I agree.
fans in
Yeah.
WWE. Do you agree? Yeah.
I still think, what was the city last year when AJ came out? I think it was Lyon,
Yeah.
where the hard camera was shaking from the vibration of the fans
Yes.
doing AJ singing his song that they personalized for him every time.
Yeah.
I'm going with Lyon one and then Paris second.
That's France just has great fans. I think they got to go back
Yes.
to Puerto Rico though and give them another shot because Bad Bunny's entrance to
It was
Backlash a few
great.
years ago was insane too. So I want to
Yes.
see Puerto Rico get another shot at it.
Yeah.
Also, I want to see LA get another shot just so I get to go to the show here locally. But I don't think LA stands up to Paris or Puerto Rico the way they
not even close.
No. Before we get into Raw, we got a super chat from AOTV Productions I want to shout out, and it's for you, Matt. It says, "Hey, Matt, I just wanted to say, as someone who's on the autism spectrum, I keep your family and son in my prayers." So that's a incredible super chat, and I wanted to make sure we were done with Clash in Paris before going to it.
Thank you, AOTV, and to the rest of the fans watching us. Every once in a while, if you hear my son, that's him in the background, getting restless. So hopefully you guys don't mind. But thanks for the prayers and the positive vibes. We appreciate it. Thank you, AOTV.
Thank you, AOTV, for the super chat and for the kind words. And yeah, everyone who's listening and watching, if you want to be a part of the conversation, again, subscribe, join the super chat, or join the chat. But then also, if you get a super chat, you can ask us any questions you want, really. So use that super chat. Let's talk a bit about Monday Night Raw. Went down today, also in Paris. I want to talk to you a little bit about, this one's going to catch you off guard a bit. I don't know if you expect me to bring this one up as the first thing I want to talk about, but I want to talk about Asuka and the Kabuki Warriors. She's unhappy about Io Sky palling around with Rhea Ripley, and she really went. I love that she's yelling at Kairi Sane off camera all the time now.
That's
just
funny.
being completely unbearable in these different backstage promos and things. What's your take on them? Were you entertained by this? I felt like this group had gotten stale, and Asuka has now made it interesting to me.
That she's still like yelling the wrong words for voice inflection. Now, in her defense, this is a second language, right? This would be like me and you having to learn a second language or even a third tertiary language and act like we really know it, right?
Right.
But like she said the word championship, like she chose to over accentuate that word when it made no sense at all. So I'm laughing, I'm popping on one hand. And then the other hand was she's this uncomfortable moment between her and Rhea where her fingers against her, like your shoulder, telling her that I'll push it. It took her forever to get to the point of I'll push anyone who I want. I've been here for 10 years, but it's entertaining. You can't say it's not. Mm-hmm. And then, like you said, the off-camera comments to Kairi Sane pops me the most. And I think they're getting a lot out of the three because, again, I want to remind folks, think about it. Think about going to a foreign country and having to learn a brand new language. Mm-hmm. And then be thrown on television learning that new language and act like you know it. And then do it in the wrestling promo sense with two others just like you that are from America. And now you're in, let's say, Spain or you're in Mexico, you're wherever. Mm-hmm. And you're having them speak that way, Hispanic, and never doing it before. Like, that's insane to me that they're able to pull that off. And I think the three of the girls are doing a good job with it. I think we all understand the gist of it. We know what's going on. It's very easy to understand. She's jealous of Rhea. Mm-hmm. Very basic to understand. It makes Sky continue to look like a bigger baby face, right? We all feel bad for her now. And I can't stop laughing when I think about her because she's being really funny. But then Asuka being the super dominating jerky, yelling at the wrong times, but still good. It works. Heel.
Yeah. And then you wonder where Kairi Sane is going to go in the whole situation because she's kind of like, you can tell.
You feel bad for her. You feel bad for her too.
Because she looks like she wants to be friends with everybody, but she's too scared of Asuka to say anything, which is 100%. Great. which that's the kind of thing now. One day she's going to make a decision, and that's not going to be a surprise, but that's the kind of thing I'm going to pop for and love.
Yes.
To your point about the second language, I just got back from a trip to Europe, and it was fantastic. But I was in Spain, and I went to a coffee shop, and I ordered a latte, and they were like, "A latte?" They gave me a weird look. Like, yeah, I guess I want to drink a latte or whatever. And I got back a glass of milk. That's that's what a latte says. I was supposed to say a cafe latte over there, and that was an easy one, and I got it. It was embarrassing, Matt. They give me a big glass of milk. I was like, okay,
That's funny.
In any case, yeah. So I've been digging that. I thought that was a fun thing going on there. But Finn Balor, Dragon Lee, they have a match. It ends with Finn getting the win because of some outside interference from JD. That matters because that causes them to get booted from ringside when Dom and AJ Styles have their match. During that match, a Grande Americano is the person that helps Dom get the win. And this, I get why, but I'm kind of surprised this wasn't the main event. France loves AJ. Everyone loves Dom.
I agree with you.
I was surprised this was so early. What'd you think of this one?
I forgot about the Super Duper Tag Team match at the end of the night because they did no follow up on it backstage unless I missed something to hype up that tag match. And I thought when AJ was out there, I'm like, oh, they're going to be going home early tonight. I really felt like that was going to be it because I thought that was the main event.
Yeah, I did too. And because even when it was done, they started doing next week we've got this going on. Started talking about everything else going on after that. And I was like, oh, maybe a little bit early, but it was about 2 hours. I was like, okay. And then when they kept going, and then I remembered, oh yeah, we've got this thing. By the way, 2 hours, 45-minute Raw. Come on, guys. We gotta tighten this up.
Especially when it's like this. And I know I'm being so spoiled in my fandom in a way because we were so spoiled over the last couple years. Yeah. I know that. I'm not stupid. Right. Between both AEW and WWE, as a fan, I feel like I've been spoiled. So, but now I just feel like they're going, like we said, I keep saying I don't want to keep crapping on them, but just paint by numbers. If you're going to do that, then don't be stretching this crap out for up to 3 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes. And to be fair, I get why they've got to do it on the business side to get all their ads in, and get the revenues that way, for now being on Netflix. I get that, but still, it's painful. It makes it all the more obvious that it's paint by numbers the longer these shows last versus going off hot.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And shortening it.
Yeah, it felt like they could have trimmed down quite. This didn't feel like an episode where there was nothing they could have trimmed out and cut down. But Dom, again, he is such a superstar. I know we talk about it all the time, but I mean, he is going to have such a long career if he wants to, because it's just how cool he is. Like, it's who he is too. It's not like he's doing crazy moves, or it's not like he's got to stay super jacked or do something. Like,
no, he's not. He's skinny. He's scrawny.
Everything he does is just like how his brain works, I guess. So he could do this when he's 50 years old and still be okay.
So this is what I always tell everybody. I was like, oh, Matt, you're a body guy. You only like guys that are jacked, and those are kind of guys you rooted for when you were growing up. The Hulk Hogan's, the Warriors, etc. When I was a little boy. But my argument to that is that's not the case when the character becomes bigger than anybody's physique could ever overcome. Dom is my main example. Dom's character is so friggin' over. Just to get heat, he flexes his arms where he knows he has no biceps.
Right.
Like, he does double bicep pose on purpose because he knows he has no bicep heads, and just does it for the heat of it. He's so over. He doesn't have to. If I'm him, I'm not. I'm just working out to keep my body from getting injured, but I'm not adding an ounce of muscle on it if I'm Dom ever. Right. Just because it adds to his heat. And it's he's so good at it. It's starting to turn its head where people are going to start rooting for it.
I mean, I think people are already there, really.
I think I'm there. Admittedly.
If he won the world title, I would lose my mind.
I would too.
This is like, I would go nuts for him. And we kind of saw that when he won the Intercontinental.
I was just going to say that. Say that. I jumped up and down when he won it.
I was like, yeah, it's my guy, Dom. And I think that's how he's going to be forever. I think we're always going to, like, kind of like, I hate to compare because it's so obvious, but like the Eddie Guerrero, where I think if he turns heel, we're just going to be like, this is great. If he turns face, we're going to be like, this is great. And
Yes.
what a great place to be in, where you're an athlete, but you're not
Oh,
supposed to work out and get in shape.
right.
What a
Seriously, it's the
great
best.
life.
He has the best life, and all he has to eat is chicken tendies.
And yeah, we need you to eat more chicken tendies. Like, what a
Apparently,
great job.
if I had only known. If I had only known.
We'll see what happens with El Grande Americano and him and their.
Real quick to point out, and you already know this, I'm sure, that's Ludwig Kaiser, the last couple iterations, especially the one at AAA, at Triple Mania. I like him playing it. I think he's doing fantastic with that character.
Yeah, because the fact that he speaks Spanish and can he really drives it home. I wonder if Chad Gable is a part of him that's like bummed out that Ludwig Kaiser is
killing it
with his character. Like, I wonder if he's calling him like, Kaiser, could you like cool it a little bit?
Calm down a little bit. Yeah.
That's my thing. That might be one of those weird things in the future someday we look back on. Did you know Chad Gable was the original El Grande Americano?
Maybe.
Kind of like now when it's when people say, like when you have to remember Undertaker's first manager was Brother Love and not Percy Pringle, but
Paul Bear.
Paul Bear, that's the name. Yeah.
But even deeper cut, $1 Million Man.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
So one day El Grande Americano as Chad Gable as El Grande Americano could be one of those weird, like, he was that. Yeah. I thought it was always this guy.
Yeah.
We got a super chat here, Matt, and this is a story I don't really know about. Maybe I'm not sure if you do, but AOTV Productions asked the question: did you guys hear about Liv Morgan's stalker? He was catfished by someone pretending to be her, and she humiliated him. So he flew to from Canada to Florida to get revenge on Liv. What do you think of this?
Honestly, I know nothing. I gotta be honest. I didn't hear anything about this. No, wait, hang on. Let me read the whole thing again. Did you hear about Liv stalker? He was catfished by someone trying to be humiliated him. Oh man! So he flew to Canada and get revenge on Liv. I wish AOTV. I wish I could give you an honest answer. I don't know. I've never heard of that yet. Actually.
Yeah.
Was this big news? Was this like headline news and I'm just dumb?
Yeah, I haven't heard about it. I don't know if it's something that broke while we've been on the air, but in general, I would say wrestlers aren't reaching out to you. First and foremost, if you ever get a message from a pro wrestler saying, "Hey, I am so and so from WWE," probably not them. Just probably forget about it right there. So also, if you're talking to someone, just make sure you're talking to who you really think. In general, online these days, make sure you know who you're talking to. But that's an unfortunate situation all around. I want to talk to you about something that was a really big moment for me, Matt. CM Punk, who I am famously a hater of, was waiting all night for Seth Rollins. He says he wants to talk man to man, does not get the man he's looking for. He gets Becky Lynch instead. Matt, this was my absolute favorite Becky Lynch promo I think I've ever seen. I loved this. This was the best she's been. Talk to me about it.
It was outstanding. She did great in playing with the audience. She didn't let the audience hijack it, which is impossible with that audience because they're so good. They really are so talented. I don't know if that's even a word. They're talented. Yeah. They're a talented audience. I never thought I'd say those words.
Right.
But they are. They're a character in the show. I know a lot of old timers hate hearing that, but that's how wrestling is today. They sing song. Everybody's entrance songs now. It's way more interactive. Say what you want. The business has never been hotter. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's working. Especially when they go overseas, though. So the fact that she didn't let them hijack that was a miracle. Okay, because she left a lot of openings. They did bite on a couple of them. Then she cut them back off and get loud boos. But she also got them to do the CM Punk chants, which you're supposed to do as a heel when you're in the ring with a baby face. The slaps to the face were perfect, very aggressive, obviously very real. She did paintbrush him on his chest a couple times, but she freaking smacked the crap out of him. Like Stephanie McMahon, like annoying level, where you're like, oh, I wish my wife was here to ... right? And it was perfect. It was such great heat. Punk showing his levels of frustration was really good. He was bursting at the seams, walking back with his tail. People are going to say he walked back to the curtain with his tail between his legs. I didn't like that, but I did like there was a payoff to it when he's meeting with Adam Pearce, when Seth already skedaddled out of there. That there's going to be SmackDown's going to be Chicago next week, and Punk's like, so hopefully we get that AJ Lee payoff. I hope so. The fans were cheering for it tonight in Paris, France.
Yeah,
so great segment to answer your question. That was one of Becky's best promos. She's cut 3 really good ones this year. I've really, really, really liked.
Yeah, I think with Becky, like I'm a big Lyra Valkyria fan, but I think now, like
you're the one.
I'm the one. I'm the person. But she clearly isn't on the same level of a Becky Lynch, because Becky Lynch is obviously about as
on
high
her
as
own.
you can get.
She's on her own level, Becky.
And so I think having her cut this promo with someone like CM Punk in the ring, for me, it just registered all a bit more. It's one thing when you're Becky Lynch talking down to Lyra Valkyria, but it's another thing when you see her doing it to CM Punk.
Yes.
And it felt very like, oh, this is big time. And you're right. She was so just in the best possible way, annoying. And
yes.
I got to the point where it was like, CM Punk's going to have to slap her or something. Like, what's he going to do? Like, he's got to do something, because she was so bad.
I thought it was going to be like the old OVW spot Cornette would book for me with Sin Stacy, that's his wife.
Yeah.
She was like my arch nemesis heel manager of this group called Disciples of Sin that were always jumping me and things like that. And like, she'd be my wife, so I have to like pick her up by armpits and like put her back down, and then go get the 2 guys that just jumped me last week, let's say. Right. So I felt like I'd see that spot in there when she kept stepping in front of him when he was trying to walk past her. One thing I didn't like was like Seth turned around and like casually walked away once Punk got past her. I didn't understand why he didn't go through the ropes, chase after him. I don't know why they didn't have him do that.
Yeah, that felt a little awkward to me too, especially after CM Punk said, "I'm holding up the show until I get my hands on him." Yeah, and then he kind of gave like, "Okay, never mind." It was a little bit like, "Oh."
So Jack, as soon as I say that, I'm about to answer my own question, because then they had to get to the smack spot that was very important and integral in this promo. They still could have done the smack spots, and then Seth comes out, and then he goes through the ropes and chases Seth away. Yeah. I just thought it made Punk look weird to finally step past Becky, who was blocking his line of, direction twice. Finally gets around there, and the magical ropes are separating them again, which is pro wrestling 101. No, cut through them ropes and sprint after him and chase him out of there. At least you see him take off in a car, and Punk's like, ah! And then you insert Adam Pearce there into the promo about SmackDown being Chicago. And him, and then leading us on that he's going to show up on SmackDown, hopefully with AJ Lee.
Yeah, I think that would have been better. Even the scene where you could like see Seth Rollins jump into the car and the car speeds off, kind of thing. Yeah, because it also felt a little weird that Seth Rollins so casually just left his wife with this guy that is his arch.
I didn't even think about that part. Yeah, that's bad too.
Like that seemed a little like, oh, so.
Kind of heelish too, to be fair.
Yeah, but that felt a little weird. But in the end, this was a net positive for me. I thought this whole thing was
even at the end, awesome.
He says, "You're gonna regret touching me," and she's like, "I already do to regret touching you with your gross sweat."
Wasn't that good?
That was fantastic.
I didn't talk about how she had to get a whole new hoodie because of his ball sweat from the week before.
Ball sweat. I was dying. I was like, "This is my favorite part of the show." I was like, she killed it. I absolutely love what she did. But we do got a question I want to throw back to you here. Is AOTV Production says, "Hey Matt, I just wanted to say that oh no, sorry, wrong one.
You read that one.
We read that one already. Says a lot of fans are predicting Rollins and Lynch versus Punk and AJ Lee at WrestlePalooza. What do you guys think, Matt? It certainly seems like that's what they're leaning for. Huge.
I think that would add. Go ahead. What'd you say?
As you say, do they have to make it AJ Lee? Like if it's Bailey or if it's Rhea Ripley, is that just going to take too much energy out of the room at this point? Are they teasing too much?
It has to be AJ Lee. It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to.
I agree. And what if that happens? What are your thoughts on that?
that it's going to be awesome. That we're going to get some really good. We're going to get some great promos.
Yes.
Like, I'm more interested in the promos leading up to it than any of the match work because they're all so good on the microphone. And we've not heard AJ in years. So what does she now got to say of all these years watching everybody heel on Punk? And he's the cancer of pro wrestling if you're an AEW fan versus, you know, for years, people calling her husband's name out since he's been retired. What has that been? Like, there's so much we'd want to hear from her.
Yeah.
She's going to be a very compelling character right off the bat. I think it'd be great. I just don't think they need it for Palooza because it's already a supercharged card already. It's only going to add more to it, and I think it's going to get more subscribers. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think that will be because AJ Lee's one of those people that, like CM Punk, has just sort of people always want to see AJ Lee come back. They always want to see. They always want to see like he says, CM Punk was gone. Just one of those people that has just connected to the audience in a way that's just different than most people.
Very
and
different.
When she comes out, and like you said, I'm with you. It has to be her. There's no one else that can do it without it feeling like
it won't work.
Huge letdown.
It will be. It'll be a fart in church. No matter who it is, it has to be. No matter how talented the female talent is, it won't work. I'm just telling you, it has to be his wife.
Right. And when that happens, huge. And with WWE, I don't know if it'll be, I mean, WrestlePalooza seems like where it would be, and that would obviously make sense for a lot of reasons. But to your point, it's kind of packed. But WWE, they can stretch things out. It wouldn't shock me if they found a way to drag this out until a Survivor Series or a whatever the October PLE is. I can't remember.
It could. I still want to see Punk get that championship though. So like, there's so much of me like I don't want too much of these exit ramps of getting off the main prize, which is 1-on-1 for this damn title.
Right.
Like
and when he does beat Seth Rollins, everyone's going to lose their minds because this has been built up for so long.
Yeah, I hope so.
We got a question for you, Matt. It says, "Hey, Matt, you mentioned Jim Cornette. He has an issue with Cena turning face after eviscerating the fans for months. What do you think?"
Of course, I listen to JC's show, so I heard it. I know exactly what you're talking about, AOTV. I do think it was weird that they just pulled it like that. On one hand, there's the obvious, which this is the great John Cena everybody wants to see, right? The babyface John Cena, the hustle, loyalty, respect John Cena. It wasn't too long ago, I'm not too old enough to remember, guys, where we were dying to see a heel John Cena. The problem is they blew it with The Rock involvement. They completely screwed it by not the initial involvement from The Rock. It was the non-follow-up with The Rock that completely killed that storyline and ruined his heel turn, in my opinion. All right. And he tried to do the best jobs John could do, which is healing on the fans, of having to always be on in front of them. And all the stuff he was saying made sense as a heel, actually. I actually like, this is really good. For the first couple weeks or so. But then it just, you know, if you listen to John talk about it, he talks about how battling with the fans that were still cheering for him. That's still not enough of a reason not to stay heel, in my opinion. We knew that he was going to eventually turn face back before he's not going to retire as a heel. None of us thought that. I thought he'd see errors of his way on his last match or his last month maybe in the business before he officially retires to get that last babyface John, run for maybe about a month, maybe one or two shows. But I don't think – I just would say the truth. The truth being The Rock involvement was awesome at the beginning, him doing this and John making the facial expressions he did and kicking Cody in the ding-ding. Was great television. It was great cinema, as the kids say. The follow-up to it was lousy because they did not have any Rock involvement. And to make it worse, what really killed it in the ground was they had Travis Scott come out for like a 35, 45-second stroll at WrestleMania, strolling down the aisle, taking forever to get there. Nobody cares about this guy at all.
Right.
It was just that his involvement ruined it too. So it ain't on John. It's on creative. If you're going to go this route and it's going to be with The Rock and there's a super power group together taking over the business with The Rock and Cena, that's great TV I was expecting to get. And we got none of it. We got no follow-up at all to it. And it sucked.
Yeah, I always say that. I think that the Cena heel turn, if it had happened like 3 years ago, or if we had time before he was
Good
wrapping
time.
everything up, it probably would have hit better too. But knowing that I only got a few more matches left, I want to see John Cena. I don't want to
Yes.
see alternate John Cena. I want to see the real thing that I grew up loving and I watched for 15 years or however long it's been, 20
But,
years. Um,
but I want to
well,
say something. I got to give him all the props in the world for going along with that. John could have said, hell no, I'm not doing this.
yeah.
So I give him props for doing that because he was very proud of being the only one that's never not been a heel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bruno's never been a heel, but nobody knows. These fans
Right.
today don't know who Bruno is for the most part.
Right.
Newer fans don't. But my point is, John was always very proud of that, to be the babyface for so many years, despite what fans wanted to see. That he always stretched the babyface stuff, and him still saying, you know what, this is what you guys want me to do. I'll turn heel. That just shows he is always willing to do, I guess, what's best for business in this last iteration of him. There's been other times where he's not done what's best for business with stars on the come up, but that's another time for another show.
And I'm sure that's a lot more complicated than just
Yes.
X's and O's.
Yes.
Yes and no's. But
yes.
Jose in the chat has a question. Matt, do you think Cena should bring back Doctor of Thugonomics in his retirement tour?
I always got a kick out of it and liked it. I think now, though, it's a little too late.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. He's too old.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
Again, if we had a whole year and he did it once or twice, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. But now that we're down to he has like 3 matches left, I think, which is crazy.
Yeah, he's leaning into him going bald, right?
Yeah.
Instead of ignoring it, he's now leaned into it, and getting older, right? So, like, part of me appreciates that, and it adds a different layer to his character versus Super Cena, I think.
Right.
Whereas if he's going back to Dr. Thugonomics, that dude ain't bald and that dude's not aging. That's like the coolest guy on the planet. He's that modern day Arthur Fonzarelli to really show my age from Happy Days.
Hey.
That's the doctor. That's the Dr. Thugonomics. Like, he's the coolest guy in every room, right?
Right.
John's an old man like me. We're not cool anymore. We're older.
Right. Yeah. At a certain point, there's nothing you can do about it. No matter how cool you are, you're just sorry. You're past a certain age.
Yes.
It's Dom Mysterio is the coolest guy in the room now.
Which is wild. But yes, he is.
It's so weird. I keep thinking back. Someone showed a video of him like debuting in the Thunderdome era, and I was like, oh my God, that's right. But as we wrap up, I just want to, last thing that happened, LA Knight, Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed. The bad guys get the win, and they beat up Jey at the end until Jimmy comes out. This felt, again, I feel like just after watching Clash in Paris, like, okay, here's again the tsunamis over and over, the beat down. I love the Usos. I felt like Jimmy didn't really pop me enough or get me excited enough about what was, it felt kind of course Jimmy came out. Kind of like we talked about, of course Jimmy came out, but I don't know who I would have expected, but I don't know. It just didn't. It felt a little bit like, oh, this feels like you mentioned, an off ramp for a little side quest for everyone involved.
That's what I was just going to say. That's exactly the words I was going to say. It's another off ramp to be continued to stall Jey as the single act. But did you hear Jey as they were going off the air? Jay's like, I can't do it without you. I need you. I can't do it without you. So does that mean now they're going to be a tag team again? I mean, and then we get this iteration of tag teams now between the Usos versus the Braun Brawns.
I mean, it's what it looks like. But
I don't know. I don't know. I'm happy for Jim because Jim is not the forgotten one, but the one that for whatever rhyme or reason WWE doesn't seem to put much stock into. It's always Jey. And they never really get Jim a legitimate chance to get his own one. They did it as a heel for him, but not really as a babyface yet. So I don't know. For Jim, I'm happy. But that's about it.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. But I felt like either the Becky Lynch promo or the AJ Dom should have ended the night, because this felt a little bit like, we've seen this a few times.
Amen.
Usos come back, but maybe the Usos, because I don't know what it is, and we'll end on this. Last question for you is the tag team division. I look at the roster, the tag team division on both
Mhm.
shows, and I feel like there's a lot of names that are good. The New Day, you've got Judgment Day, you've got on the other side, you got Street Profits, you got Y6, you got all these teams. I don't feel like I've even think about the tag team division, and so I feel like that division needs something to spice it up because I forget that the Judgment Day are the champions. I forget who the champions are. I forget the last match they had. I don't even know who the number one contenders would be.
Yeah, you're
The
right.
War Raiders came out, and I was like, oh yeah, the War Raiders.
That's what I'm saying about it being such a middle of the road pay-per-view last night. Today's Raw was middle of the road as well. Just because of that. Like, no offense to War Raiders, it's just the company, when you tell us not to care about somebody over and over and over again, you can't then expect us to start caring about them. You got to do more work and not be lazy about it to make us care about them again. It's not impossible to do. They've done it before with other acts.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with it. Again, I think the Usos could help the tag team division in that way, but I also feel like that's a step back for Jay. Like, he worked so hard.
Huge step back. That's an enormous step back for him, singularly. Yeah.
Yeah. They worked so hard to get him out of that, but we'll have to see what happens next. I think that does it for us today, though. I want to get back out and enjoy that sun. You look like you're ready to get back out there and enjoy a 3-day weekend, and I'm sure all of our listeners and viewers. But before we go, any final words, and where can the world find you online and all the stuff you're working on?
Nothing. Guys, you already know where to find me on social media. Salute.
All right. Well, thank you again, everyone who's coming through in the chat and who liked, commented, and shared, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the show. We'll see you guys next week. Again, follow the turn on the bell for notifications, and you can follow me at Real Jack Farmer across all social media. That does it for us. I'm going to hit this end stream button, and we're going to call it a 3-day weekend.